नमस्कार हर्षो जी, नमस्कार.
Namaskar, Mohan.
How are you?
I'm all good. Thank you, Somya. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. It's really nice to see you, and especially nice to see you after
Absolutely.
such a long time. We are having a talk about this session for a very long time. I suppose it's almost been a year. एक साल हो चुका है कि हम बातचीत कर
It's
रहे थे
been
इस बारे
exactly 9 months. The last time we had a chat about this, the whole family got corona, and it was a
में.
second wave. So we were all in dire straits. I was hospitalized, nearly died. Stayed there for 10 days, got back with no inclination to work, but ठीक हो गया. Took 2 months, but recovered. So it happens. Second wave was a tough one for everybody.
Of course.
Compared to the third wave right now, yeah. Now everything is okay. Comics, lots of work is going on in that discipline right now.
हाँ, हर्षो जी, सबसे पहले आप प्लीज हमारे दर्शकों को, व्यूअर्स को ये बताइए, Where are you from? आप रहने वाले कहाँ के हैं?
हम कलकत्ता में रहते जी. I stay in Kolkata. So at one point I had I was basically working in Bangalore for a while. This was after I did my mass comm in Symbiosis Pune में. 2 साल के बाद I was there in Bangalore for about 2 years. और उसके बाद हम कलकत्ता में लौटे and I've been there ever since.
And how exactly this art bug hit you? When did this happen?
Started a long time back when I was a kid. I started drawing right at home. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I was drawing at home. I used to read lots of comics at that time. And we used to read lots of Bengali comics. So we had a very famous artist, Narayan Devnath. So he passed away, unfortunately for us, day before yesterday. So I was a big fan of his works. So Bartle the Great, Nonte Fonte, Hada Bhoda. These were the comics we all enjoyed at the time. And around that time, we also had Tintin comics, and we had Asterix. So the Euro culture was very, available in India at that time. So that helped quite a lot for us. And after that, slowly the DC and Marvel thing also came in. So if you look again at the DC comics at that time, the artwork wasn't exactly what we would like right now, because better artists have come up, styles have changed, styles have emerged, and we look for a different style nowadays. But at that period, whatever comics I read, they engulfed me. So I enjoyed completely. So us samay pe, when I was, let's say, I started drawing comics, when basically I started drawing comics when I think I was in class 6 or 7 in school. That would be about roughly 10, 11 years of age. Because I know for a fact that I used to sell comics at that time to my friends. By sell, I mean, we used to have a juice, I think, in school. I think not Coca-Cola. We used to have some cola juice at that time. So I would draw in small, small diaries that my grandfather used to give me as gifts. And I used to draw a whole comic over there on, let's say, WWF or superheroes or something. And the friends over there, they were all very eager to, tell me, yeah, keep on drawing more comics. We like your comics and stuff. So a small chota sa comic they would take and they would treat me to a drink. Earlier, Purane Din mein, when the newspaper industry was good, the magazine industry was good, lots of work came for us. But then the digital domain started creeping in, and all the newspapers, they began to shut down. And as a result, creating comics slowly, this was in the 2014-15, when the cycle became such that for us comic creators, we had to focus on comics more than illustrations and cartoons and comic columns and stuff. That went out of practice altogether. It was very hard to find proper clients in comics. So later, as and when you ask me, I'll talk about the current projects I've worked on in recent times and the ones that I'm currently, let's say, working on. But like I said, it started very nicely. Then at one point, around about 2012-13, it went down. The comic creation process went down a lot. And not just comic, basically, we were going into the digital medium. So newspapers sort of stopped taking in freelance entries. Magazines sort of stopped taking in the stuff they used to coerce us to do earlier. So that was fun, because earlier, before this, basically I've been working properly in the comics field for almost, I think, around about 20 years now, 19-20 years. Wow. The beginning was very nice, बहुत अच्छा था. Then it went down, ऊपर उठा थोड़ा, around about the time when the Comic Con started. That was a very nice period. So from 2010 to 2014 was a very nice period. Then it swooped down, moved down a little bit for the next 3-4 years. Again, it went up. Again, it went down. And then when the COVID hit us, that was when I expected the comic scenario would be very, very badly hit. It was for 1 month. And then suddenly the webcomic industry grew up. So for us comic creators, we found out that webcomics may be both अच्छा काम हो रहा है. So we could actually create comics for print. Print was a problem at that period because, all the printers were shut down. Because with the COVID situation, how could you expect a publisher or a client to go out and print your comics? So that's when the webcomic industry actually flourished. So after that, things have been so far good because printing is also happening right now in spite of COVID and will hopefully go on. So with the COVID problem being tackled properly. So like I said, the flow of work has been interesting. और मेरे तरफ से एक अच्छा चीज हुआ during the Corona period was that I changed my styles also. But that we can talk about later when you're interested, when you discuss that point.
I do. As I said, I'm a fan of your art for sure. I really like it. I remember one of the comic books from Holy Cow Entertainment. I even during our telephonic conversation, हमने इस बारे में बात भी करी थी. मैंने बोला भी था. I think it was Operation Decay, Volume 1 for the viewers. Amazing art. Talking about Holy Cow Entertainment. I suppose your association with Holy Cow has been for I think 4-5 years now or even more?
Probably more because Vivek and I, we know each other since, I think when the Comic Con started, like you said, back in 2010, 2011, my association with them came before they even started because they wanted me to conduct a workshop in Kolkata before it was set up. In India, before it started in Delhi. The first Comic Con happened in Delhi. Before that, they were trying to figure out how, let's say, Kolkata would be good for a city. So they all came over here and we conducted a workshop out here. And at the time, they were slightly uncertain because the enthusiasm of people was good, but they found some aspects of Kolkata troubling for conducting, a Comic Con sort of event over here. And over the next, like you've seen, over the next 10 years, 11 years, Kolkata has never been a place where Comic Con has happened. It's never happened over here. It's happened in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Pune, all cities. It's come through all cities, Hyderabad, but not in Kolkata. There are readers galore over here in the city, but still it hasn't come. It has not come for a number of reasons, practical issues. Because over here in Kolkata, we believe that we want to enter Comic Con, gallery, whatever, we want to enter for free. Free mein ghusa do. But that thing for Comic Con, you have to pay. The amount has gone up. Let's say it started, I think, with 400, 500. Then it slowly moved up. Slightly lower also at the beginning, I think. 300, something like that. Now it's gone up to 1,000 or 800 or so. You tell that to a Bengali reader in India, in Kolkata, that payment fees for entrance hoga bas 700, 800 bucks. And they say, "Ki bolcho ki? Go and drive. I want to go for free." So uske liye, and because they figured out that is domain mein, especially right now, Comic Con started out very nicely. We had lots of fun because it was us creators who were holding the major limelight at the time. But in recent times, like I've been to the last one I've been to was in Delhi in 2020 before the Corona set in. So we had a good time again over there. But there was a whole area of people who were creating their own works. They had the center area. But I thought that there was a very good thing done by Jatin and the others over there by encouraging other people to also come. And I'm talking about brands to come and set up their stores as well. So monetarily, that's helping. But from the comic creators domain, I just felt that the urge that earlier, pehle din ka beginning when it started off, the readers who used to come and firstly look at the book stalls, the comic stalls, that urge sort of I felt had gone down a bit. And then the Corona stepped in. 2 or 3 collaborators on a regular basis. Whenever we get projects, we work together. So there is Jaideep Undutli, based in Hyderabad. There's Anupam Arunachalam, who's based in Delhi. And there's Salamander, who's currently, I think, based in Holland. So right now with each of them, I have a plan of working with them on different projects in different years. So with Jaideep, for example, right now, we are working currently on a graphic novel, which is focused on Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft. And we are imagining what Lovecraft would be like if he was here in India back in the 1940s, before we gained independence. So there's an uncertainty about Lovecraft's death, and we are trying to explore into it and, look into his stories also while at it. So I've shared a few files with you, and with Jaideep, it's been fun because we've worked on several projects together. We've worked on, for example, the book that I'm holding in my hand right now. This is the Hyderabad graphic novel. And this one was the first one that we worked on together. And it took us about 3 years to finish it. And I think we got it out in 2013, 14, around about that time. And it was a very tough, because we were working together simultaneously. My style was also different at the time. And I was trying to adapt and get better, Thorasa, this way and that way, leading this way sometimes. So for example, if you check out this one, this book has in it several comics. It has about 3 or 4 short comics over here. So this is one story, for example.
Wow. Amazing.
So over here we had a very nice colorist who we haven't worked with in the future, but Neeraj Menon, he's doing exceptional work abroad right now for clients outside. So Neeraj was doing the color for this one. Then again, you have pages like this, where the style was totally changed.
All right.
This is more like the stuff you've seen in the Holy Cow comics, right? Where you see lots of shades and stuff. And again, you'll come back to this style, the simplistic style. So we were breaking the story into different parts, and each part had a totally different style. So that was a very interesting way of working, especially with the story. After that, we had started on another one called Necropolitan, where we were talking about ghosts, spirits, monsters, stuff like that. And his collaborator in that comic, in that field, was the company's name was Sayanagiri. And we had Praveen Vempadabhu, who was, part owner with Jaideep of the company. They were bringing together lots of artists and writers together. So they brought out a number of comic anthologies. Like, for example, they brought out the Bangalore, and after the Hyderabad graphic novel came out, they brought out the Bangalore graphic novel, like this one. And this one had a number of, so this one had a number of artists and writers collaborating together. And so my comic over here, this is where I got a chance to do the colors myself. And I was trying a different form of style of art. So you can see over here, I think I've shared some pages online as well.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
So a different style where I could make things simpler, but try the coloring aspect also together with it. I have not talked yet about the comics in Bengali. So I can talk about that later on when you want. So the comic that we made came out a bit in this one, this comic anthology called Chotushkon. So here's a look at one of the pages.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So this one thing about the comic was that it had no text. So it can be read in any language. You don't have to know a particular language to do that. So that's the fun thing of working with Jerry, because when you give him an idea, he brings out a very, very nice, interesting story out of it. And it's very nice to collaborate with a person who wants to sit down with you and discuss how every page kaise hona chahiye. By the way, that's one point where I can tell you one thing. I have in recent times worked on a few books where I've had to do books on Kolkata itself. But you probably, like I said, most of my readers don't know much about these books. So I'll try and show these books to you and explain. Is that okay? So I got a chance to work on something like this for this graphic novel came out. It was called Kolkata Kalirosko. This one was published by Speech Bubble.
Speech
This
Bubble.
was, I think, around about 2015, 2016, around about that time. And I was basically talking about different aspects of Kolkata, which people may know about and may not know about. For example, how before Durga Puja, who creates the amazing Durga idols? Who creates them? About the panwalas, what about them? Who knows about that? The rickshawalas, who know about that? So aspects of Kolkata which I thought were, very interesting. And there was one section also which for me was the most interesting, was the great artists and artistes of Kolkata, which we should know about. The directors, the artists, the actors. So that part is one I enjoyed working on quite a lot. So here's a look at one of the pages, some of the pages from inside. So this one is focusing on the Durga Puja.
Okay.
And how they are created.
Wow. Amazing. All these are are these available in English as well?
They're all in English.
All right. Great.
So the graphic novel was in English and it was brought out by Speech Bubble. I had a chance to work with, there's a friend of mine in Switzerland, so Christoph. So I got a chance to get some of my comics published in the Swiss magazine called Strapazine. So it was all translated. So I was writing the script myself in English and it was being translated into German.
Amazing. Like most of us, we are almost completely unaware. It isn't unless and until a Bengali artist, he or she comes forward and brings these amazing masterpieces. और तब लगता है कि यार कितना गजब की comic books और graphic novels वहाँ पे भी बन रही हैं. So you have been working for, I suppose, almost 2 decades now in the comic book industry, and now you definitely have seen the time जब comic books बहुत अच्छा था, जैसे so called Indian golden age कहा जाता है. Then came a time जब not so golden age आया, there was a decline. Right now, we probably have been discussing it for the past 1 hour now, that definitely there is a digital medium and mobile apps and so many things are there. What, according to you, Harshoji, is now the future of Indian comic book publication?
Yeah, good point, because we can't do anything in print much, apart from the companies which are there. For example, Vivek's company, Holika, was there. Then there's Campfire down in Delhi. Then there is, like I said, Amar Katha. So apart from these few strong households, these strong holes over there, we have very little choice to do anything apart from setting up a company ourselves. So imagine you make an investment, ek to company banao. Some people are actually doing it. Good for them. But I think one other option is always there, like something I'd approached ABP, Anand Bajar Potrika, earlier with. Why don't we create a comic magazine, which is funded by the newspaper? So newspaper funds are used properly, and you get a team of artists and writers to create a monthly comic, a series of comics, make it interesting. Different styles mein comic hoga, different type of comics hoga, different characters nikala jayega. But interest is very little. Interest is high from the creators, but from the people who will supply the money changes ke haath mein hai. Usme interest kuch bhi nahi hai. Yes. They will appreciate short films, they'll appreciate Netflix ka waisa film shorts, but comics, sadly, as a digital medium, only option for us right now is to create webcomics. Nowadays, something is happening quite a lot. In the US, for example, बहुत सारा Kickstarter program हो रहा है. So, for example, if you want to, let's say, creators, writers and artists, they want to create a very good graphic novel, let's say 80 pages long, and self-publish it. They get the funding through Kickstarter. But India, I don't think the Kickstarter thing has kickstarted yet. There are a couple of other domains like Kickstarter, which have started, but they are eligible for, I think, more for filmmakers and musicians and stuff, not for the comic medium. I tried my hand at it once, and there's another friend of mine, Somya. So we created a mad style spoofs. We did 10 pages worth, and then we had to stop because it wasn't going anywhere.
Okay. Comic books definitely needs to get transformed into electronic media. Or electronic media like OTT platform or somewhere, something should happen. Because nahi hua hai abhi tak.
Correct. Ekdam ho jana chahiye, because see, the mobile platform is very good because our minds are attuned to the mobiles nowadays. We do everything. I've stopped wearing watches on my hand. मोबाइल से हम टाइम देखते हैं ना, so everything is mobile oriented. So comics भी mobile oriented कर दो, like you have CBR readers where you can download and read comics, right? You can buy comics and read them also. So you can read comics on tabs also, but mobile is always like something you carry in your hand all the time. So mobile से देखने में जल्दी हो जाता है. Just keep the prices down a little bit and mobile पे I mean पढ़ लो. So that way, if something like that can be done and it can be monetized properly, and if people in India, I mean, we are there, right? So we like to buy comics also, but we also like to download and read, right? जो free में मिल जाए वो क्यों छोड़ेंगे? So if that can be somehow curtailed, and somehow the platform comes in, for example, let's say for Amazon Prime, we are watching lots of serials, right? But we are paying a certain amount for it. If something like that can come in the comics domain also, like I think Marvel and DC has done something like it, right? And you can enter that domain and see that you pay a certain amount per month on a monthly basis or yearly basis, and you can read all their comics.
All right then, Harsho, thank you so very much for coming on the channel. Thank you so very much for giving
Thank you, my
time.
friend. Thank you, Somya.
And I'll take a promise from you, and that the promise is कि कहीं ना कहीं future में हम बहुत जल्दी दोबारा मिलेंगे, दोबारा टकराएंगे.
Sure, absolutely, Somya, absolutely.
And if there's a possibility, if there's a new release, we definitely will be talking about it. And along with that,
please do.
We will be talking about your artwork as well. That's what we do.
Thank you. It will be very helpful for us creators if somehow newspapers, we've given up hope. So earlier, पहले दिन में जो होता था, when your graphic novel used to come out, you used to get quoted by, we used to have friends in different media. So let's say Times of India, Hindustan Times, they would reach out to us and make a column about that. Nowadays, nothing. All gone down the drain. Because things have changed a lot. But I do wish that, for example, media outlets like you, Somya, and others like you, if they stepped up and did regular basis of sharing the new comics and books which are coming out, that would be a very good help not only to readers but also to creators like us. We would also feel okay. At least Somya, he would read our books, he would read our comics. So we feel happy that way. But thanks, my friend. Thanks a lot for your enterprise.
All right. Thank you so very much, Harshoji. On behalf of the entire team of the Drawing House, thank you so very much. All the very best.
Thank you, Somya. Looking forward to meeting up with you. You're in Delhi only, right?
I'm in Dehradun, in Uttarakhand.
Uttarakhand, अच्छा. तब वहाँ पे जब जाएंगे कोविड के बाद में, then we'll try to catch up over there.
For sure.
Would love to see your book gallery over here behind you. Would love to check that out. वही देखने का इच्छा हो रहा है. Comics अंदर है तो उसके अंदर.
Comics, books, graphic novels, yeah.
Nice. Okay, nice talking to you, my friend.
All right,
okay,
then.
goodbye.
Take care, goodbye.
So keep me posted then. Okay, take care.